The knavery of slavery. Modern-day slavery. The number of slaves today is estimated to be between 12 million and 29.8 million, even though slavery is currently illegal in every nation. As to the broad definition of slavery, there were 27 million enslaved individuals worldwide in 1999. The International Labor Organization estimated that there were 12.3 million forced laborers in 2005. At the end of 2006, Siddharth Kara estimated that there were 28.4 million slaves in three categories: trafficked slaves, 2.7 million, forced labor, 7.6 million, and bonded labor/debt bondage, 18.1 million. The number of slaves worldwide is predicted to be 29.2 million by the end of 2009, according to Kara's dynamic model. A 2003 Human Rights Watch assessment estimates that 15 million children in India are engaged in debt bondage, where they labor under conditions akin to slavery to repay their families' debts. According to Slavoj Zizek, the post-Cold War era of global capitalism has given rise to new forms of slavery, such as the denial of fundamental civil rights to migrant workers on the Arabian Peninsula, complete control over workers in Asian sweatshops, and the use of forced labor in Central African natural resource exploitation. The U.S. State Department published a report on slavery in June 2013. It ranked Uzbekistan, China, and Russia as the worst violators. At the lowest rung were North Korea, Sudan, Syria, Cuba, Iran, and Zimbabwe. Among the 21 nations on the list were Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Algeria, and Libya. Thousands of Nepalese, the largest group of laborers, were subjected to slavery during the 2022 World Cup preparations in Qatar, where they were denied wages, had their documents seized, and were unable to quit their jobs. In 2016, Qatar was given a 12-month deadline by the UN to stop enslaving migrant workers or risk investigation. Slavery is far more common in prosperous Western societies than previously thought, according to a 2018 Walk Free Foundation analysis. The United States and Great Britain had 403,000, 1 in 800, and 136,000 slaves, respectively. The United States is one of the most advanced countries in the world, yet has more than 400,000 modern slaves working under forced labor conditions, stated Andrew Forrest, the organization's founder. Globally, there are an estimated 40.3 million slaves, with North Korea having the largest number at 2.6 million, or 1 in 10. Women make up 71%, and males make up 29% of the estimated 40.3 million individuals living in slavery today. According to the report, 24.9 million people are engaged in forced labor, 15.4 million are in forced marriages, and 40.3 million are in modern slavery. Modern slavery, according to the foundation, is situations of exploitation that a person cannot refuse or leave because of threats, violence, coercion, abuse of power, or deception. It was discovered in March 2020 that the Chinese government was utilizing the Uyghur minority as forced laborers in sweatshops. At least 80,000 Uyghurs were forcibly relocated from the Xinjiang region and utilized as forced labor in at least 27 corporate enterprises, according to a report released at the time by the Australian Strategic Policy Institute. Companies like Abercrombie & Fitch, Adidas, Amazon, Apple, BMW, Fila, Gap, H&M, Inditex, Marks & Spencer, Nike, North Face, Puma, PVH, Samsung, and Uniqlo have all purchased goods from these factories before the ASPI report was released, according to the Business and Human Rights Resource Center. Libyans began seizing sub-Saharan African migrants attempting to go through Libya to reach Europe during the Second Libyan Civil War, selling them on slave markets or keeping them hostage for ransom. Women are frequently sold to brothels, raped, or used as sex slaves. In Libya, child migrants are subjected to rape and cruelty. Although Mauritania was the latest nation to outlaw slavery, in 1981, 20% of its 3 million inhabitants are thought to be bonded laborers, with Black Haratan serving as slaves and Berbers and Arabs as their masters. However, owning a slave was not illegal until 2007, even if slavery as a practice was outlawed in 1981. As of 2012, only one slave owner had received a prison sentence, despite the fact that numerous slaves had escaped or been set free since 2007. The United Nations, the European Union, and organizations like Human Rights Watch have all heavily criticized North Korea's human rights record, which is widely regarded as the worst in the world. Abuse, forced labor, and torture are all commonplace. Regarding breaches of liberty, the majority of international human rights groups believe that North Korea has no modern counterpart. According to reports, Taiwan's migrant worker population, which was anticipated to reach 660,000 in 2018, has experienced slavery-like conditions, including forced labor in the fishing industry and sexual assault in the domestic work sector. Taiwan is one of the few countries in the world where labor brokers are legally permitted to charge migrant workers for services that are otherwise considered human resource costs and are paid for by employers. According to reports, several Taiwanese institutions have deceived students from Uganda, Sri Lanka, and Eswatini into working as forced laborers in industries in exchange for their education. In 2007, some charitable organizations also claimed that foreign women, primarily from China and Southeast Asia, were being coerced into prostitution. However, Tainan police denied this, claiming that the women had come to Taiwan specifically to sell sex. Slavery was officially outlawed in Yemen in the 1960s, but it is still a major problem that is made worse by the country's continuous conflict and socioeconomic instability. As of 2022, an estimated 85,000 individuals were still under slavery. It has been claimed that the Houthi militants, who are supported by Iran, are reintroducing the old forms of slavery. Prominent Houthi officials have reportedly coerced over 1,800 Yemenis into slavery, with the Houthis creating a hierarchical class system of owners and slaves. There are many different types of modern slavery, including child recruitment, forced labor, sexual exploitation, and human trafficking. The Al-Mohammedan community, Ethiopian migrants, and children who face extreme discrimination and exploitation are among the vulnerable groups. Yemen's political unrest and ongoing civil war make it difficult to implement the country's legislative laws against slavery. These crimes have been highlighted by international organizations, underscoring the need for more robust initiatives to prevent human trafficking and slavery in the area. Today, a slave now may be purchased for only $90, making replacement more cost-effective than long-term care, whereas in 1809, American slaves sold for almost $40,000 in inflation-adjusted dollars. Slavery is estimated to earn up to $35 billion a year, making it a multi-billion-dollar industry. Human trafficking victims are usually enlisted by deception, for example, a fake offer of employment, a fraudulent offer of migration, or a false offer of marriage, family members selling them, former slaves recruiting them, or outright kidnapping. Coercion, deceit, fraud, intimidation, isolation, threats, physical force, financial bondage, or even force-feeding with medicines are some of the methods used to coerce victims into a debt slavery condition. An estimated 800,000 persons are trafficked annually across national boundaries, excluding the millions that are trafficked within their own countries, according to U.S. government-sponsored research finished in 2006. According to a 2008 research by the U.S. State Department, up to 50% of transnational victims are minors, and about 80% of victims are women and girls. Although women who are coerced into prostitution, a practice known as sex trafficking, make up the bulk of trafficking victims, men, women, and children who are coerced into physical labor are also victims. The prevalence of people trafficking is unknown due to its unlawful nature. According to a 2005 U.S. government investigation, around 700,000 persons are trafficked annually across international borders. Internal traffickers are not included in this number. About 500,000 of the approximately 1.5 million people who are trafficked annually, either domestically or abroad, are victims of sex trafficking, according to another study.